Hello friends, this is the second session of HR Beacon. Before we get into core practices of human resource management, it is important for every professional to be familiar with the labor laws of the country. We are focusing India. Unless we carry these acts and provisions in mind, it would not be in the order of getting into practice in the human resource function, as the mistakes we make unaware of laws would lead to unrest and turbulence in the business establishment. Let me therefore repeat here some of the important acts applicable in India as a quick reference to you, so that you can be encouraged to take up reading of these acts and understand the essentials and practice them at work. I thought of doing it keeping in mind the larger fresher community entering to practice the function. I would also try to include an elaboration on these acts in the coming up chapters as a quick reference for you. Some of the important labor laws that you would be required to refer are Factories Act 1948, Trade Unions Act 1926, Payment of Wages Act 1936, Minimum Wages Act 1948, Payment of Bonus Act 1965, Equal Remuneration Act 1976, Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952, Employees State Insurance Act 1948, Payment of Gratuity Act 1972, Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act 1946, Shops and Establishments Act, Central Contract Labor Regulations and Abolitions Act 1970, Employees Compensation Act 1923. It was earlier known as the Workmen Compensation Act 1923. Buildings and Other Construction Workers Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Service Act 1996. Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Service Act 1979. Weekly Holiday Act 1942. The Plantation Labor Act 1951, the Mines Act 1952, Maternity Act 1961. I have mentioned some of these laws for your quick reference. There are about 44 laws which are in force that can be referred to as the way you progress in your functions as and when required. More or less, these few acts what I mentioned would give you a larger picture before you enter your function. In addition to these acts what I mentioned, you have to bear in mind some of the prohibitive laws in India. I would mention few of them. Bonded Labor System Abolition Act 1976, Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, one of the latest and more enforced act across India, and most of the states have adopted that to implement seriously. Sexual Harassment at Workplace Prohibition, Prevention and Redressal Act 2013. I have mentioned these acts keeping in mind you get a larger picture of human resource management system, how it handles, what are the difficulties you will be facing. When you face a difficulty, where to refer, which act will guide you to do the right thing as per the law of the land. If you violate any of these laws and it becomes a problem, then you would be required to go through the legal complications. Then the law will tell you to correct yourself. You will have fines, penalties. Often this will give you more headache in your function, especially when you are running an establishment which is in production area. You run factories. You will have shift systems. You will have a larger issues which are related to welfare of the people. Here you need to understand how these acts will come to the rescue for you to do the right thing. When you have to even convince your management, it is very important for you to first understand and interpret it in the right format and work with management and employees together to see to that you are as per law. This is more convenient than any other practice. Recently, there are certain developments in our country. These 44 labor laws have been now reduced into 4 codes. So it is good to bear in mind that recently there was a reform undertaken by Government of India by consolidating approximately 44 labor laws into 4 codes without losing its essentials in view of standardizing and rationalizing the laws and improve ease of doing business. This is also to ensure the process of registrations and filing of returns that also will get standardized and streamlined. These codes also propose setting up of reskilling fund for training retrenched employees and also to enhance their skill and employability. Also, this fund facilitates for the retrenched employees to get 15 days of wages from the fund within 45 days of retrenchment. And equal amount will have to be contributed by the industrial establishment. What are the other advantages of these codes? One of that is fixed term employment will not be considered as retrenchment. Further, the code brings the mass casual leave of the employees under the ambit of strike. Further, unions will be recognized only if it has a support of 75% or more workers. Besides, the requirement of a notice period of 14 days of strikes and lockouts in any establishment. You must be wondering, what are those 4 codes? How does it function? Here, it takes longer time for a larger elaboration. Therefore, I would just mention initially for your awareness those 4 codes. The first code, Code on Wages 2019. The act is passed in the parliament and effective now. This code repeals and replaces 4 acts. I have already mentioned these 4 acts in my earlier description. Payment of Wages Act 1936, Minimum Wages Act 1948, Payment of Bonus Act 1965, Equal Remuneration Act 1976. These 4 acts are now part of this code, Code on Wages 2019. Second code is Occupational Safety, Health and Work Conditions Code. This code is referred to Standing Committee of Parliament for their comments. The third code is Industrial Relations Code. This code is approved by the ministry now. This code repeals and replaces 3 laws consolidating essential elements of 3 laws. The Trade Unions Act 1926, the Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act 1946, Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Let us look at how this code is coming into force after all approvals from the government. The fourth code is going to be Code on Social Security. Let us appreciate the effort to reduce burden of compliance by looking at each act and its procedure differently and make a consolidated return filings, registrations This makes the respective official to spend less time for compliance practices, and your time can be spent effectively on many other activities, and business will find it more ease of doing. All these laws are formulated to help the industry, enabling them to be more organized and to be pro-labor, which will contribute to enhanced satisfaction of the employees and in turn contribute to the highest productivity at business. Let me conclude this chapter here. I would elaborate some of them in my later chapters. We would be discussing more on the core HR relatives in the coming up chapters. Thank you.